In this video, I will take you through the basics of Boards on Fire. Among other things, I will show you our digital boards for pulse meetings, daily management, and continuous improvements. Boards on Fire is a cloud service. You can access your boards on your computer as well as on your iPad or smartphone, anywhere, at any time, as long as you have an internet connection. You can hold your pulse meetings at a big screen and visualize important information and data. You log in at app.boardsonfire.com, or you go to our website boardsonfire.com and click Login in the top right corner. When you log into Boards on Fire, you must first choose which organization you want to work with. A user can belong to one or more different organizations. Once you have made your choice, you will end up on the Start page, where you can access all the boards that belong to that particular organization. Simplified, we can say that we have 3 different types of boards in Boards on Fire, each of which fulfills slightly different functions, and connected to them we also have a great module for continuous improvements. At the top here we have the dashboards. Those can be filled with a number of different components to follow up key figures and register deviations regarding health, safety, quality, production, delivery, and so on. You can type in data manually, but we can also integrate with your ERP or other sources to retrieve data and update your boards automatically. A pulse meeting board is perhaps the most common example of a dashboard. Daily management, close to the employees, but also great decision support all the way up to management. The content of the board can be completely adapted to fit the needs in your operation. You can run them in dark or light theme, and this also applies to all other parts of Boards on Fire. The activity boards are our solution for project management, handling deviations or other activities in a structured manner. Each activity or project will have its own row on the board, and there are many different column types you can use depending on what information you want to enter about your activities. For example, plain text fields, in this case a project description, lists of all users to put someone in charge of each activity. You can add different tasks to your projects and assign them to the right person. You can set a start date and a deadline for each activity, use a traffic light to indicate status, and so on. Each team or department can have its own board, and you can share information between them. Finally, we have the display boards. What they all have in common is that they are there to continuously retrieve information from somewhere and visualize it in Boards on Fire, rather than be boards that users add data to manually. The display boards can, for example, retrieve data from a machine or a production system to display production rates or OEE numbers in real time on screens on the production floor. A display board can also serve as a slideshow that loops selected information from your dashboards and activity boards, a way to communicate with and create participation and commitment among all employees. Before I go a little bit more in depth about functions and components in our dashboards, I will explain how the organizational chart is structured in Boards on Fire. In Boards on Fire, we adapt the organizational structure to fit your operation. There is always a main organization unit and usually a number of sub-organizations in one or more levels. It can be, for example, a factory with different production units and a number of teams at each production unit, or a corporate group with different business areas with a number of subsidiaries within each business area. Regardless of how your business is organized, each unit that needs its own boards will also be its own organization unit in Boards on Fire. The great thing about our solution is that all data and information that is entered or retrieved on one of these boards can then be escalated or aggregated from each individual board all the way up to a single view at the top. Information can also flow in the other direction or be shared between different organizations at the same level in the chart. Now we'll take a closer look at what a pulse meeting board can look like in Boards on Fire. I will show you some of the most common components and explain how they work. The threshold to get started is really low. If you want, you can start with just a few components as on this dashboard, and then expand with more features as you develop your pulse meetings. You can easily add new parts via this menu. There are a number of different components to choose from with flexible settings that allow them to cover most needs. The content of the board adapts to the size of the screen. You can choose from a bunch of different layouts, and you can move and place the individual components in the order you want them. Here we have a meeting timer that simply helps you keep track of time and create a more efficient meeting. You set the time yourself and click start, and it counts down and signals when the meeting is over. An easy way to stay focused and avoid pulling away in unnecessary sidetracks. This timer alone helped many of our customers to cut several minutes off their morning meetings. The Safety Cross is a common tool for following up health safety and log risk observations, incidents, and accidents. In this case, we have 4 colors: green, blue, yellow, and red. But you can choose to go with green, yellow, red, or just green and red if that suits you better. You can also set your own custom status names if you want. To fill in the cross, click on the current date and choose which color you want to mark. You can also add a comment about what has happened. The annual overview provides an overview of all incidents year to date, grouped by month and type, and with all comments. Each department or team can have their own safety crosses, and the information from them is escalated and merged into a common cross for the entire operation, which automatically gets the worst color from the crosses below. If all departments are green, the top level will be green. If one is yellow and one is red, the top level will be red. If you click on a date in the main cross, you will see what each department has filled in with associated comments. We also have a calendar-shaped component with exactly the same features and functions as the safety cross, which you can use to log deviations in any other area such as quality, cost, delivery, etc. Here you have a simple to-do list, an easy start to handle deviations, activities, and actions that are to be performed in a structured way. You add a new task, set a title and description, assign it to someone, and set a deadline. When it's done, you mark it, and it ends up in the archive of completed tasks. The last thing I added to this simple board is a text image component where you can publish things you want to share with staff in different teams. A more comprehensive board can look like this, or this. You can track key figures and deviations for health, safety, quality, cost, delivery, and production, visualize data in graphs, and link the board to our module for continuous improvements. Here we have, among other things, a text component to show our set of rules for the pulse meetings, a visitor's log with all planned visits, who's coming, when they're coming, and who's hosting, daily checklists where you can tick off all the checks that are to be performed on a daily basis, data components with different graphs that show, for example, order intake month by month, overheads, speedometers that provide a current picture of delivery precision or production quality. You can fill them in manually, or we will integrate them with your ERP or other sources to retrieve the data automatically. All data components can be adapted to the exact KPIs that you need to follow up. Here we have the production with the expected number of units produced, actual outcome, and a gauge to visualize how you're doing. As with the safety cross, each team can fill in its own figures, which are then automatically escalated or aggregated into a common picture for the whole unit or the entire operation. The last part I want to highlight here is one of the most important: continuous improvements. In this component, we show all current improvement activities, in this case sorted by end date, so we can see if anyone is approaching or even has passed the deadline. You can create a new activity by clicking Add and filling in the different fields. This list is linked to the Boards on Fire improvement module, which gives you an overview of all your improvement activities, present and past, grouped under different tabs. You can visualize them in a few different ways, and you add new information to each activity as they progress. Prioritize in a pick chart, add people to the activity team, and create and assign new tasks in each step of the PDCA cycle. That was a quick insight into the basics of Boards on Fire. Please don't hesitate to get in touch if you want to know more about how we can set up a good solution for you. Take care.